Alright, so what I'm going to be doing today is a little bit interesting. You know, I'm not sure if anybody's ever done this before, but I'm going to be talking about the UFC and some of my opinions on the current status of the UFC and the future of the UFC while playing Minecraft to just kind of as a background. I didn't know what else to do. I've been into Minecraft lately, so gonna be playing some Minecraft and talking about the UFC. It's almost like a little mini podcast, except with just myself, because all my friends are lame. Jokes. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about is Alex Pereira and where he stands on the UFC pound for pound list. And if I was to give my opinion on this, I know a lot of people won't agree with me on this, but I honestly believe he should be the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. If you look at what he's done in the last 2 or 3 years, I think he's only been in the UFC for 2 years now, maybe 2.5 years. It's way more impressive than what anybody else has ever done, and way harder and way better, in my opinion. I mean, you look at John Jones, someone who gets argued with a lot. He's became the world champion at heavyweight, but he didn't even beat the heavyweight champion. He beat a guy in Srogan who lost his last fight to Francis Ngannou for the heavyweight title. Not taking anything away from what John Jones has done, but in the last 5 years, 4 years, John Jones has fought once and beat a good fighter in Cyril Gane, but not the best fighter. And then you compare that to Alex Pereira, which in 2 years he has beaten guys like Sean Strickland, Israel Adesanya, Jan Blachowicz, Yuri Prohaska twice, Jamal Hill. I mean, all those guys I listed were all former champions. But with that being said, there's another guy named Islam Makhachev who is the current number one pound for pound fighter in the world. And people think that because he beat Volk, which honestly don't fully disagree with. I think he has a good reason to be called number one pound for pound. But if you look at it, he has 3 title defenses. 2 are to a featherweight, and 1 is to Dustin Poirier, who honestly, I don't even know if he deserved to get that title shot, and I love Dustin Poirier. And then you look at Alex Pereira, who has 2 title defenses, but has won a belt in 2 different weight classes in 2 years. And he's way more active than Islam, and I honestly think he should be higher on the pound for pound rankings, mainly just because of the activity, and also he's won a belt at middleweight and light heavyweight with 2 title defenses. So personally, I think that is better competition than Islam Makhachev. Plus, all of his wins are 2 people in the weight class that he is at. He didn't defend his 205 title against middleweights, he defended it against light heavyweights. So now that you got my opinion on where Alex Pereira should be in the pound for pound rankings, I'm going to give you my opinion on who I think is going to win, his rival or Dricus du Plessis. And I'm talking about Adesanya versus Dricus du Plessis on UFC 305 in Australia. I honestly think this is going to be an interesting fight to call. I mean, in my opinion, I think if Israel Adesanya can go back to when he torched Paulo Costa, destroyed Jared Cannonier, destroyed Robert Whittaker, and even the Adesanya that knocked out Pereira. If he can go back to that, I think he wins this fight pretty easily in a very technical performance and gets a very impressive win against du Plessis. But that being said, if he fights like he did against Strickland, du Plessis destroys him and maybe finishes him. This fight is honestly one of the hardest to call in my opinion, because it could go either way. I think it'll either be dominance by either one. I don't think this will be a close fight. I don't think this will go to decision. I think one is finishing the other, which may be hard to believe because Adesanya doesn't always get finishes, but he is a very powerful fighter when he needs to be. And we all know du Plessis, I mean, he's a wild fighter who is going to go for it all. He's not going to sit there and try to outpoint you. He's going to risk and reward, and normally he gets rewarded. So I think this fight is going to end in a finish, and I'm not going to give my official prediction yet because I honestly don't know who I think is going to win. So yeah, I say either one of these fighters are getting a dominant win, and I don't know who it is yet. Another really fun fight on that card is Kai Kara France and Steve Ercik. Steve Ercik, everybody was hating on when he went to fight for the flyweight title, including myself a little bit. I mean, I wasn't hating on him, but I was also like, why is this 11th ranked flyweight fighting for the title? And then he went out and put up an amazing fight against Alexander Pantoja, and I didn't think he won, but I did think that if he did get his hand raised, I wouldn't be too surprised because he did a lot in that fight. He did a lot of things right until the last half of the fifth round. He shot for a takedown, which he should not have done. He was winning the exchanges on the feet. Pantoja was winning the exchanges on the ground, so I'm not really sure why Usyk went for the takedown there. But, if he wins this fight against Kara France, I would like to see him fight for the title again. I think if he, works on some of his grappling a little bit, he can 100% beat and maybe even finish Pantoja. But he's not gonna just roll through Kai Kara France. I don't think Kai Kara France is a well-respected fighter who has fought the best of the best, including Brandon Moreno and many other great flyweights. I mean, Usyk is the much taller and longer fighter, so that's why I think I'm gonna have to give him the edge there. I don't think this is gonna be a complete dominance performance, but I could see Usyk getting the finish, honestly. He has the power to do it, and Kai Kara France has been finished before, so, I honestly think Usyk is going to win that, but I could see Kai Kara France giving him a run for his money. Shoot, I need to find some wool. I only got one wool. It's almost nighttime. Is that a village? Or is that lava? I can't tell yet. Oh no, that's a village. Let's go. Oh no, a villager's getting beat up out here. No, he's harassing the villager. Next thing I want to talk about is UFC 304, which is coming up pretty soon actually, and that is Bilal Muhammad versus Leon Edwards. Honestly, I think this fight is gonna go pretty. Oh shit! I think this fight's gonna go pretty similarly to the first fight they fought. Obviously, it ended to a. Oh, nice. Obviously, it ended to a doctor stoppage because Leon poked him in the eye. Which, I mean, I'm not taking that away from Bilal. It's definitely a serious eye poke. I mean, he got his eye messed up pretty bad there, but oh my god, that's lucky. For most of that fight, Leon Edwards was pretty much dominating. I mean, Bilal really didn't land anything significant on him, and Leon stuffed his takedowns, which I'm not saying Bilal hasn't gotten better, but I also think Leon has gotten a lot better since their first fight. So I honestly predict that Leon Edwards is gonna win by third or fourth round finish, and I mean third or fourth round knockout or TKO. I don't think he's gonna submit him. Could see Bilal, you never know. He could get the submission win. He could tire out Leon, which Leon doesn't have a bad gas tank, but he doesn't have the greatest gas tank. So, I mean, I'd say that's Bilal's key path to victory is getting Leon tired and taking him down and submitting him. But that being said, I think Leon is gonna get the win. Very minimum unanimous decision, but I think he can get the knockout for sure. Another interesting fight on that card is Paddy Pimblett versus Bobby Green. Honestly, that's a weird fight to call. I mean, we really haven't seen Paddy have any like crazy performances. I mean, he arguably lost to Gordon. He beat an old washed up Tony Ferguson. So I honestly don't know who's going to win this fight. I think, I'm honestly hoping Bobby Green wins. I don't think Paddy's as good as he thinks he is. But I'm not trying to hate on him at all. But I think Bobby Green will win this fight. I don't think it will be a finish. I think it will be a unanimous decision, maybe even split decision. But is it another village down there? Or What is that? But anyways, yeah, I think Bobby Green will win that fight. But I could see Paddy Pimblett pulling it off if he gets. If I'm just, I mean, I might just be completely wrong, but if I had to bet, I'd bet on Bobby Green. Oh yeah, and on that card is Curtis Aspinall, or Curtis Aspinall, Curtis Blades versus Tom Aspinall. That's an interesting fight. I mean, they were supposed to fight once, but Tom blew his knee out within the first like what 10 seconds of the fight, if that. Uh, but I honestly think Tom Aspinall is way too skilled for Curtis Blades. I think Tom Aspinall gets the job done by either knockout or unanimous decision. This is a 5 round fight for the interim heavyweight title. Hopefully the winner will be fighting John Jones, but you never know with John Jones. He wants to fight Stipe. He's probably going to fight Stipe. He's going to beat Stipe. And hopefully he doesn't retire. Hopefully he fights the winner of Blades versus Aspinall, and then he can retire. But I really hope, I want to see Aspinall versus Jones so badly. I mean, I honestly think John would maybe win, but it does seem like he's ducking him a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to say he's full out ducking him, because I know John Jones, I don't think is really scared of anyone. But it does seem like he doesn't want to fight him. It does seem like he wants the easier fight in Stipe Miocic. But, you know, I think he could definitely beat Tom Aspinall and Miocic, which is why I want to see the Aspinall-John Jones fight, because I think it'd be a pretty close fight. Could go either way, in my opinion, but hey, we'll only find out in the future. Oh yeah, another thing I want to talk about is Arman Tsarukyan, which I remember watching the fight and him walking out. I was at my friend's house for UFC 300, and he was fighting Oliveira, and I was like, nobody was really watching the walkout besides me. Everybody was just kind of talking with each other, and I just saw Tsarukyan randomly throw a punch into the crowd, and I was so confused what happened. And then I saw a clip of it on Twitter of Tsarukyan literally punching a fan. So he got suspended after like, it was literally like 2 months ago, and he just got suspended for like 6 months, which is really interesting because Tsarukyan was gonna fight for the lightweight title next, like 100%. He was next in line for the title shot. Islam had no one else to fight besides him, so he was for sure gonna get the title shot. But now, I honestly don't know what's next for Islam. I mean, if he waits for Leon and Bilal to fight, and then wants to fight the winner of that and try to get double champ status. Ooh, look, nether portal thingy. Anyways, if he tries to get double champ, I mean, by the time... What the fuck? Anyways, by the time he does fight Leon or Bilal, I mean, it will probably be around 6 months, which Tsarukyan will be back by then. So I'm honestly thinking, just give him Oliveira. Oliveira put up a super close fight with Tsarukyan. In my opinion, it could have went either way, depending on how you want to judge a fight, based off of control or submission threats. I'm not saying I thought Oliveira won, but I thought he could have done enough to maybe edge out a decision. But, I mean, Tsarukyan was next in line 100% because he barely beat Oliveira, and Oliveira barely lost to Tsarukyan. Now that Tsarukyan can't fight, honestly, give Oliveira the rematch with Islam. He was already supposed to get the rematch, but had to pull out, and then they gave him Tsarukyan instead of just giving him the title shot again, which honestly I don't agree with. I thought they should have just gave him the title shot. I don't see why he had to fight Tsarukyan, just considering the fact that there wasn't really a lightweight lined up for the title shot. I mean, Dustin Poirier was the next lightweight to fight for it, and he didn't really deserve it necessarily. I mean, I'm not saying he full on didn't deserve it, but I felt like Oliveira deserved it way more than Dustin Poirier. But with that being said, I think Islam, in my opinion, should fight Charles Oliveira next, and then wait for Surukin to get out of his suspension. Or what I would also like to see would be Oliveira versus Leon if Leon wins, but Leon isn't very active, and literally by the time Leon's ready to fight again, Surukin will probably be also ready to fight. So I honestly don't know. If I was Dana White or Hunter, I would be confused on who to give him. I would be confused on who to give Islam next. I mean, he could really go out and fight anyone in the lightweight division. Might as well give him the winner of Connor and Chandler. I mean, I'm not saying he should do that, but he doesn't have too many options. And speaking of Connor and Chandler, that's a fight that was supposed to happen. It would have happened by now, but got canceled, unfortunately. Or not canceled, but postponed, hopefully. And I would honestly like to see that one in the Las Vegas Sphere. I mean, there's been rumors about that. Michael Chandler has even talked about those rumors and said that he would love to fight there, which I would love to see that. I mean, the first event in the Sphere is a Conor McGregor fight. I mean, that's huge. That might be one of the biggest fights, if not the biggest fight in UFC history. I mean, everybody wants to see Conor return, and everybody wants to see a fight in the Sphere, so that's the perfect way to do it. Alright, that was the main things I wanted to talk about. Oh, what the fuck? Involving the UFC. Shoot. Anyways, that was the main things I wanted to talk about involving the UFC. If I think of something else to talk about, I'll say it, but for now, I'm just gonna try to find some iron or something. Alright, I'm gonna end this here. If there's anything you want me to talk about next, just leave a comment, and I'm sure I'll make another video once some news with the UFC comes out. And I'm sorry I haven't been uploading in a long time. I just haven't felt very, passionate towards YouTube. But I've been feeling like I want to post a lot more videos lately, and hopefully I will do that. So I'll see you next time.